So HiveMind is kind of like this strategic brain that can help your business from making huge mistakes. It can empower your marketers. If you don't have any marketers, it can give you a sense of like where you actually need to go and what you should be working on. And then any products downstream of it that are doing niche automations or working on a specific segment of marketing, it empowers those.
All right, welcome everyone. I'm very excited about this episode of Myosin Learns because we are demonstrating our flagship product that is being led by Mitch and Matt. I really want to get into the meat of this Learns and see what you guys have prepared. You've told me that you've got a small business that you're going to apply HiveMind to and see how things work.
This is HiveMind here. I'm going to walk you a little bit through the product here. As you can see, it kind of looks like what you'd expect from a typical LLM interface, and this makes it nice and familiar and easy to use. I've set up a project here that we're going to use for our demo case. It's called Nomadic. And Nomadic is a very interesting brand that I found yesterday. They do like digital nomad, travel gear. They're very trendy. They've got a good visual identity. And so we're going to use them for our example case here and show you everything that HiveMind is capable of. To build a project, we just go here, we go to project, and if you want, you can type in it any kind of like, give it the whole thing. If you just got an idea in your head, you just want to lay it down. If you want to copy something that you've been working on in ChatGPT or in Claude, you can just copy paste it here. Or if you're lazy like me, you just take the website link and then you punch it in there and then you just let it go. Now the cool thing is what's happening in the background is it's pulling out not just the website link, but it's going and getting the sitemap and it's finding all of the related web pages. So not just the one that you sent it, it's going and looking on the internet and finding out about the company. And then it's analyzing all of that and then it's turning it into a marketing brief for it to set up future chats and conversations with it. And honestly, it does a pretty impressive job with just a website URL. You can also attach files. So if you want to add your business's slide deck, if you want to add PDF documents, Markdown, if you want to add images, whatever you want. If you want CSV files, maybe you're working out of that, it also handles that too. So it takes a couple. Go ahead.
You know how you have project folders, let's say in Claude or
Yeah.
ChatGPT? Can you integrate that in HiveMind as well? Have different project folders with that context information?
Yeah, so all of the files and everything sit in like a folder, so you can go and check what files you've uploaded, you can take it out, you can add new files in later. So you can manage all of that context that you're feeding about your business from one unified view, which I can show you a little bit here. Just in time, our analysis is finished. And just remember, this is me just dropping in the website URL. And then it goes here, it says, breaks down what they do, must travel bags, backpack, camera, luggages, blah, blah, blah. The biggest framing here that I think is important is how we frame it. So what do they do? Let's make this a little bit bigger so you're not squinting there, Shane. What do they do? Who do they serve? How do they position? And what is their unique value proposition? And so with those things, we really develop like a good standard marketing brief to work off of. And then from there, we can automatically fill things in. So we're like, they do e-commerce, consumer fashion, travel accessories, whatever. What stage is the project in? So are they just an idea? Are they just about to launch? Or are they already an established company? We give them some goals. This really helps direct conversations to find out what is the company's goals or what are the goals of this specific project. And again, if you just want to edit anything, you just go in there. You're like, I'm not so interested in Kickstarter anymore. And you're just like, I want to reach 1 million ARR, whatever. Go there, and then you could just update it however you wish. And it also grabs your social handles as well. So you could see right away we got their TikTok, we got their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter, their YouTube, all of that. And then you can keep going. So if you want to add more context, like where do you operate in? Maybe these guys are big on New York. Sure, let's add it in there. Maybe they're also focusing in Buenos Aires. Who knows? And all of this, go ahead, Shane.
You're putting in your company's information, but you could equally apply this to competitor, right?
Well, that's a great idea. So maybe you wanted to make a project all about your competitor and then figure out where they're operating in. Add your audiences, add your channels if you want to use. All of this is kind of optional, but it also, the more effort you put into setting up your project, the more that HiveMind can understand where you're operating and what's relevant to you. But you can just kind of blast through this and add as much context or as little context as you want, and then the project gets made. So if you look here, the first thing we get is intention landscape. We look at what's happening in their environment on like fast moving cultural trends, memes, what's happening on Reddit, things like that happen in like shorter cycles. So we look at what shifted. So if this project is already looked at for a while, we look at the cultural trends that are changing over time. So since the last report, what's changed? What's changed in the cultural background that's relevant to them. We look at things that are relevant to the consumer, to the category, and then to the culture. So we can see premium price versus proof durability. They show a viral post showing a high-end suitcase.
How is HiveMind processing this?
So I can't give away a lot of the sauce, but basically what we're doing is we're launching a surface that goes across many different channels. So we're looking at web search on the internet. We're looking at activity on Twitter. We're looking at RSS feeds. We're looking at Reddit threads. And so we're pulling all of that information, and then we're letting it figure out like what are the highest value signals. So we get like 100 and over 100 different URLs, citations of like information. And then it categorizes what are the highest signal ones or the highest relevance. And then it prioritizes, say, like a subset of like 15 of those. And then it puts that into the report. The coolest one, I think, is actually the competitor research, which I think ties in exactly to what you're saying, Shane, is it'll go and find competitors in your category. So it'll go and find your direct competitors. It'll go find your indirect competitors. It'll show you what are they talking about online? What are they promoting on their end? And then it'll give you a threat ranking table, essentially.
Fantastic.
So pretty cool. And then it'll also say what is your company's unfair advantage in that environment.
And this company you're demonstrating, what's their unfair advantage?
Their unfair advantage is a tighter travel plus creator focus with a lifetime service credibility. So literally they have a lifetime guarantee on their product, which I think is really interesting because it directly addresses the criticism of like the luxury travel brand stuff, just like breaking. It's like, oh, well, these guys, they have a lifetime warranty on their stuff. And so it tries to find out like how can you get an edge in that environment against your competitors.
And this company, can you give us a little bit more context about like how big it is, how many marketing professionals you think they have, and how they could like optimize their work with HiveMind?
What I can see is this company's been around, I think, for about 6 or 7 years. It doesn't seem like they're incredibly huge. I would say they're like a medium-sized business. They do seem to operate in a lot of products, and they've been around for, again, a good amount of time. They have a fair amount of like visible presence. The important thing is that they're active on many different channels, which gives them good online visibility. But the interesting thing is that you can see the space is getting crowded for them. They're going for digital nomads, people who like to travel around, and so there's a lot of competitors in this space for them, even for a medium-sized, well-reviewed company.
So what does HiveMind give them that they might not otherwise have access to? Any details?
I think the thing is the reports is great. Right away you can start from that. And then the next part, which is I guess the meat of the thing, is all of the marketer knowledge. So if we go in here, let's try and let's do a little demo. Why not? So let's think of something like this that this company might need. Let's think. They're like, how can we leverage our lifetime warranty offering and build a go-to-market strategy to break out amongst all the other digital nomad lifestyle brands who compete against us? Let's try that. Let's see what it does.
And while you're searching, a selling point about them having a lifetime warranty, do they flag that? Do they highlight that in their branding?
That's a great question. You could see right there it says lifetime warranty. So I mean, but it's like it's right there in the corner. You might have missed it. And then you click it and it goes to their FAQ, and you're like, oh my God, where do I even start on this? I'm just visually overwhelmed now.
Yeah.
So you can see it's like they have this little nugget here, and HiveMind is automatically identifying. They're like, hey, this is actually kind of important. This is your unfair advantage that you're offering amongst the dozen competitors that we pulled out.
And so I imagine also you could have, it might highlight Reddit threads where people are pissed off about the fact that a competitor product doesn't have a lifetime guarantee or warranty.
I mean, you can see it's right there. It's the answer to the exact tension going viral right now.
Here we go.
Yeah. So it knows that all this conversation's happening online. It was like, this brand is well positioned because it's offering a lifetime warranty, and so it's like, hey, this is something right now that you can leverage that's going viral. and position yourself against. The interesting thing is that before it goes into there, it's going to ask you a couple questions. It's not just going to try and like put out like a best effort, you know? It's going to be like, well, before I go deep on this, I need a little bit more. And the interesting thing is you can see all of the different like knowledge files that we're pulling from the members that helped it to inform this first message here. So again, we have all of these like actual marketing knowledge from Myosin's network that go into this answer. And each answer is kind of like it's pulling different sets of information from our member knowledge base. And then it's choosing how to use that in order to give you the best possible answer. Maybe let's try and build out. I don't know what you got for us, Shane. I'm like, maybe we can build out this conversation a bit more.
Yeah. Go for it.
So what we do is we poke, we ask some more questions to give it more confidence before giving us like a full strategy playbook, you know? So let's make something up here. We have a lifetime warranty item buried in our FAQ and 20K 5-star reviews on, I don't know, Trustpilot. I don't know. Contrarian take.
Oh, I like the contrarian take.
Yeah, it does a lot of really interesting things in its thought process to build things out. And again, it depends on the framework that it sees, you know? Be like, well, this framework probably fits you best. So it's not always like a fixed output that it gives you. So we're like, great, okay. We've got a cultural read, we've got a contrarian take. Pull the warranty out of the FAQ. Yep. And then it starts giving you like a series. You're like, okay, let's think through this. What do I need to do in what order? And then it starts listing out your risks. So it's like, okay, here's a plan, but then you also need to understand the risks that come with it. And then also suggestions on how you can hedge against that risk. So you can really see, like, if you're, for many different use cases here, this is incredibly useful because this helps you if you're a small team and maybe you don't have the marketing firepower or you don't think you have the expertise. This automatically just gives you something that's based on actual human lived experience, so you know where to start, you know, and you avoid making expensive mistakes on just like generic campaigns that don't break through the noise.
And I've obviously gotten great feedback from this from different people in our network, but like somebody watching this might be like, how does this compare really to ChatGPT? I can notice some differences, but can you tease out like just why this is a much better product and the insights you're getting are so much stronger? Or even just some of your testimonials from different people you've spoken to.
I mean, yeah, I could go off the cuff, sure. I mean, I find that generally what people have said to us is that these other LLMs are made to be agreeable, you know? They will say, great, let me build you a campaign, and they just like this, but they don't poke. They don't just say, well, what do you actually mean by that? Like, I need more information. Or they don't push against your ideas because it's made to be kind of like a sparring partner, at least this strategist persona. So it's like, it's going to poke holes through your ideas or through your assumptions, and it's going to get information from actual live-through campaigns from our members and be like, well, actually, what we know from this is contrary to what your assumption is. And so it's going to kind of really push on your ideas in ways that other LLMs won't. And the other thing is that it's built to think like a marketer. It's built to think like a senior strategist. So it's going to go and look through all the things. Like it's going to be like, okay, what are the cultural things? What are the viral hooks that we can leverage? What is the data saying? You know, and so it can go through all of this, and then it understands how to build you a specific like campaign plan.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the fact that it pushes back on you is more than just, you know, to people who are less familiar with strategy, it might sound almost like a gimmick, but reality is like great strategists almost always interrogate your brief. Anyone who's ever used ChatGPT or even Claude spend, you know, $5 million on this campaign for my launch with radio ads, and that's very retro of you. But
Yeah.
you know, anyone who's ever been a founder, save money, but time is wasted just going down the wrong path. And so it's definitely a much better use of your time.
Excellent. So you've shown a lot on the strategy. I know there's so much more to go, but can you tell me a little bit about the execution capabilities of HiveMind?
Yeah, so there's some interesting stuff. So right now we have the Myosin Product Studio. And so what we're building out on the execution arm is where we have several different tools that leverage HiveMind already. And we have a suite of APIs and plugins that allow you to go directly from talking to HiveMind straight into execution with your coding agent or your Claude Cowork or whatever your flavor you're using there. And this is actually all here. So it's interesting. There's several different levers actually to address that. One is that whatever you're using now, it works automatically with it. You just go in, you type in some slash commands in your Claude, and then you get the plugin. And then boom, the same place where you're using to update your Notion documents or going and updating your content calendar, you can just automatically pull and run that against HiveMind to make everything sharper.
Let's imagine I'm a non-technical marketer and GitHub scares me. How could you walk us through very clearly how you can connect it to let's say your Claude desktop app?
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy. You just go in there, you just copy this, and then you copy that, and then boom, you're in.
When you copy each, and then you go into Claude Code on your desktop app, and then you paste it, press enter, and get the next one, and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and you also need a API key, which you just ask from us, and I'll just give you one. But then after that, then Claude can see, or Codex, whatever you're using, can see everything. So it understands all the tools and everything, and then all the technical stuff is totally abstracted, So even if you're using something nicer, like Claude Cowork, this totally works with that. If you're using a different type of agent, maybe on a different surface, you just, again, all of that technical stuff, if you care to read it, it's there, but my recommendation is you just copy it and you just give it to Claude. Even this URL, you could just copy it, give it to Claude. Be like, what do I do? And then all that's gone. And then when you start using it, actually, you don't need to know specifically anything. Claude already knows, and it can just say, you want to build a content calendar? No problem. Let me go talk to HiveMind first. And it'll go and it'll, build your project, or if you have an existing project, it'll pull information from there, and every single thing that you want to do related to marketing, it can run it by HiveMind and make it 100 times sharper. If you're using an agent, you can plug it into there. Which I think a lot of people are going to have their own agents very soon. Probably they're not going to be using it in the terminal like me. The other thing that I wanted to kind of share as well, Shane, was our product studio. So we've built several different downstream products that are leveraging HiveMind and using this shared knowledge. There's two of them currently. There's one that's made for Reddit engagement, called Reddit Pulse, and that will help companies break into the Reddit noise. So not only being able to read conversations that are happening on Reddit, but also figure out how to engage with them through the lens of their company, doing it organically, not seeming spammy, and actually building an audience through different Reddit channels. And that is powered by HiveMind. The other product that we built is made for SEO. As you know, the SEO game, now that AI is in there, is totally changed. Google's having to play a game of whack-a-mole every month, updating their SEO algorithm, and then AI agents are just figuring out and adapting. So RankFuel is made for that. It helps you break through the noise and help your company get viewed by humans as well as agents using several different SEO strategies, and that is also powered by knowledge from HiveMind. The last thing there is forward deployed marketing. So actually, if you're not even sure what tools that your business needs, we can actually just go into and work with you to figure out okay, what are you currently stuck on? What's something that we can help you do as a community of experts? And also, what marketing software can we build for your company? So it's not like a one size fits all product. It's we can go and make you white glove, white label software that does exactly what your business needs. And that's all powered by HiveMind.
Awesome. And we can find out more information here?
Yeah, it's called fdm.myosin.xyz. This is a really nice web page that Salo made, but you can check it out whenever you want. So there's several different channels that you can go, from HiveMind into execution. And we're also working on a couple things on HiveMind itself that should help you, being able to organize content deliverables, helping you build campaign calendars and things like that are kind of still more in the experimental stage. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Talking about Reddit Pulse, first of all, obviously the algorithm is very sensitive, so people are quick to kind of flag accounts or conversations that are AI generated or so on. How does HiveMind help you first identify conversations that your product wants to be part of, and then draft something that is not doesn't look AI created.
Well, the big thing is that HiveMind itself has a lot of specific rules that we give it so that it doesn't just come out like AI slop. So the biggest thing is like giving it understanding of how to not sound like AI, which is kind of like an always changing thing, because as soon as you tell it a separate rule set, it's like almost like everyone else also like M dashes. Everyone's like, stop using M dashes, stop using emojis. And so all of the LLMs start to homogenize around this different set of rules. And so you kind of, it's not like a set it and forget it kind of thing. And so we're always updating those guidelines to keep it sounding organic so that it doesn't break the illusion that you're like, oh my God, I'm talking to a robot. And then also HiveMind is fed all of that like lived-in experience of building social media campaigns and people working within Reddit itself, that human lived experience. And then what Reddit Pulse does is it helps you navigate all of those things within Reddit that help you not getting flagged as like being a bot or flagged as like a promotional account. And so it takes various different perspectives as a consumer, or are you posting as a brand? And so just building organic engagement without just sounding like a repetitive announcement over time.
And then on Rank Fuel, how has the advent of AI just impacted how different websites rank? Have we figured that out? How are we managing
I have a
that?
conspiracy theory, but I don't know if we want to go there. But the craziest thing is that it's just like the sheer volume. Like, I mean, as soon as, I don't know, GPT-3 came out, people were like, great, I can use this to write blogs. And so it's just volume and volume and volume that you could never imagine before, because you just let it go and it can just write never-ending stuff that is at least in English. And so, people are just putting out hundreds. You could put out hundreds of blogs a day, and they're all SEO optimized in some way. And so that just breaks the mold, right? Because it's like a tiny startup can just start firing out hundreds of blog posts, hundreds of SEO articles in a single day and break through the noise. And so now that everybody has that superpower, how do companies actually navigate that? How do SEO search engines actually navigate that to produce like the actual best results? And so I think that's changed a lot. I think in the end, this is my conspiracy, is that the internet, the layer of like knowledge and articles on the internet will no longer be made for humans, and it'll be just agents will be this layer that sits on top of the internet and then like processes stuff for us. We're not going to go and like read blogs anymore, because it's all going to be AI noise out there, and we're going to rely on our agents to actually go and parse through that stuff for us.
Well, what I find funny is the idea that you use AI to create these enormous reports that are then received by somebody who uses AI to, get the TLDR of them. So it's kind of
And it's interesting because the AI, every kind of pass is just kind of homogenizing the output that you get. So it's like it's interpreting the data, unless you have like a unique system prompt or something sitting on top of it. Like if you're just using ChatGPT, well, everyone else is using ChatGPT, so the information is going to be summarized in the same way. And then also when you pass it on to someone else, ChatGPT is also providing that in the same format. So it's kind of like that unique perspective is kind of getting diluted by like having humans reading and summarizing and like drawing conclusions from articles gets diluted in ways by having these agents just do it for us,
Yeah, for sure.
So HiveMind is kind of like this strategic brain that can help your business from making huge mistakes. It can empower your marketers. It can, if you don't have any marketers, it can give you a sense of like where you actually need to go and what you should be working on. And then any products downstream of it that are doing niche automations or working on a specific segment of marketing, it empowers those as well.
And then for the FDM work that we're doing, what are the types of businesses we're targeting? What are the types of questions you're finding people have and are getting a lot of value through HiveMind?
I think it's interesting. So we still have a lot of like smaller companies that at least come to me and are really, really interested in it because they don't necessarily have a team of marketers Maybe they have like one person, and they're like figure it out. Or maybe they're just by themselves and they're starting a company and they're like, I don't even know, no idea. I'm a dev.
Mhm.
But then interesting is a lot of companies that are not in the realm of tech, companies that are not in the realm of AI, like brands. Like if you're a beauty brand, if you're working on like the field of robotics, or if you're building something, or you're just like a meat-based brand, like you have a physical business. I think that is the most interesting opportunity because these companies are saying to us that like they have no idea. They're like, what do I do with AI? I don't know. And so the interesting thing is like we are able to go and hold their hand and be like, this is how you start, you know?
Mm.
And rather than trying to figure out what your problems are or having to articulate yourself, we're able to go into these businesses and figure out like, okay, actually we can build you something that does this and this will solve problem X. And they don't need to think about engineering, they don't need to think about like product building or maintaining infrastructure. It's just like we go and build it and it does exactly what we'll do and we'll maintain it for them.
Amazing.
So
And if people want to find out more about that, they just visit this website or reach out to Myosin directly.
So if you want to find out more about forward deployed marketing, you can go into here, myosin.xyz. You can look for forward deployed marketer there, and then you can just go and book a call.
Nice. All right. As we wrap up, is there anything else you want to tell us about HiveMind?
There's a couple things that are coming in the pipeline. We just added, if we go back to our nomadic project here, the ability to get LinkedIn. So if you added a Twitter handle, we can see all of your posting activity. We can tell you what's working
Hmm.
and what isn't working from your posts. And all of that is like context that just goes into HiveMind about what your business is up to. And then same thing with LinkedIn. So we
Very
go
good.
and that's updated, I think, every 2 weeks. We just go and get everything that you've been posting. And then we do a short little summary and a little analysis on it as well.
And can you query this? Can you take that analysis and be like, okay, give me more specific examples, or what's my best performing post and how can we replicate it? Things like that.
You can do that through the chat interface. So if you want to go and like dig through more of all that information and try and like diagnose solutions for it, all you need to do is just open a chat.
Yeah.
Just open a chat and be like, hey, look up our Twitter activity. Let's figure out how we can make posts that actually punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we did our launch on Product Hunt today, and so that's been really big for us. Let's look on it. I didn't actually look at it today. If you're coming and viewing us from here, from the product launch, we have a promo code that we can give you, and that is Product Hunt, all one word, 2026, and that will actually get you a month free to try out HiveMind.
Awesome. Mitch, thanks so much for this demo. If people want to find you, can you
You can
your
find me on Twitter, divine_comedian. You can reach out to me on Telegram, same handle, divine_comedian. I'm not that funny, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my handle.
you are divine.
But I am divine. Yeah.
Awesome, Mitch. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and just really looking forward to seeing how things progress here.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for your time.